Hey everyone, Lauren here with Catapult, and today we're going to be setting up an advertising flag so I can share a few tips with you so that your install will go smooth. For our demonstration purposes today, we're actually going to be working with a small teardrop flag. This is probably the easiest thing you can do, and we're indoors, so it's kind of a controlled environment. My first suggestion to you is out in the real world, especially with larger flags, I would recruit some help. It's always easier to have another set of hands when you're installing a flag. But I'm going to do it on my own here today with this small one. The first suggestion that I have for you is when you assemble your flagpole, take the sections and start building them, but anchor the base end into some spot. This could be when you're outside into the grass, up against the tree trunk. Maybe if you're inside, it's the corner of the room. I'm going to use this little spot right here to make sure that I apply some consistent light pressure downward to keep all the pole sections together as I'm assembling it, like so. This flagpole set has 3 sections, so this is it right here. Now you'll notice right here, we've got our flag laid out, ready to go. It's a small teardrop, like I said. And this section right here I wanted to point out is what we call a pole sleeve pocket. Now there's stitching right here that separates the pocket from the rest of the flag out here, but Catapult actually extends the printed background all the way across the flag and the pole pocket, which is very unique to our company, which is kind of cool. The pole pocket is what we're going to focus on now. I'm going to pick this up. So we begin entering the pole into the pole pocket end right here on the bottom of the flag, and we start pulling it through. Now this whole time that I'm pulling it through, I'm also continuing to create a little bit of downward tension on the pole or pressure on the pole to make sure that the sections stay together. Lightly pull the graphic. If you have any snags, if it gets caught up, don't force it. Make sure that the tip of the pole continues through the pole sleeve pocket without causing any kind of damage to the fabric. Now, this is crucial. When you get to the end, you want to make sure that the tip of the pole, which is right here, right now, makes it all the way to the end of the pole pocket, which is right here, the pole sleeve pocket. So sometimes this requires a little bit of wiggling and kind of twisting and turning until you get into this reinforced section of the pole sleeve pocket right here. And the pole is now seated all the way to the very end. You can kind of see where my fingertip is, that it's all the way at the end. This is crucial. If it is not that way, if your pole ends here and gets hung up here as it's out in outside or in the breeze, eventually the tip of that pole will work its way through the fabric and tear right through here. So that's a common problem and mistake. So to avoid that, make sure you train your customers on extending that pole all the way and running it all the way to the end of the reinforced pole sleeve pocket. Okay, now I'm going to kind of lightly work the fabric all the way down the pole sleeve until it's nice and smooth, and get all the way down to the bottom section where my hand can actually grab onto the bottom section and hold onto the fabric in the bottom section. Now you'll notice as well, if you kind of scan up top, that we've got a lot of wrinkles at the top of our flag. That's okay. It's designed, come from the factory with a large bungee cord loop here at the bottom that we're going to stick over top of the pole hook system right here. Now you'll notice it still doesn't look ideal, and that's okay. That's good enough to now be able to stand up and work your way over to the base. In this case, I'm going to be using an X base. Outside, you might have a ground spike as well. And you go ahead and mount the flagpole onto the base over top of the mounting post of the base. And make sure that this metal sleeve right here makes its way all the way down to the base and is seated completely up against it. There's some rubber gaskets in there. Right here, there's the bottom one that allows that to be seated nice and tight. And you want to make sure that's all the way down. Now that we have the flag in this position, now's the time to make the adjustment to the bungee. It's going to come from the factory, like I said, in this giant loop, giving you plenty of material to work with to make sure that this flag looks exactly the way you want it to. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pull down on the fabric flag print until I'm happy with the top. you can see I'm pulling the wrinkles out of it. Once I get it to a position that I'm happy with, let's say that it's about right there, I'm going to hold it in place with my left hand, and I've got this big loop, and I'm going to decide where I want the loop to end on the hook. So right here is where I want it. I'm going to simply, at this point, take both hands, I'm marking the spot with my thumb there, and I'm going to just make a simple knot and work that knot all the way up the bungee so it's like up against my thumb, right where my spot on my thumb was, right there. So that's my new loop, that smaller loop. Now when I pull it all the way down and hook onto my hook, when you go scan up top, you'll see that it looks ideal and is nice and stretched out. That's how you get a nice, even, smooth fit to your flag. Now, a couple other tips to make sure that things go smooth out in the real world. Number one, make sure that whenever you set up your flag, that it is not near a structure, a building, a tree, or anything else that the fabric flag might rub up against. You can do a lot of damage with just a little bit of movement up against some sort of surface. So that's the first thing, is choose a good spot. The second thing is if there's ever any inclement weather, make sure you take your flag down, and take it down at night as well. The flags are designed to be durable and withstand a little bit of breeze, but not for inclement weather. So that's a good suggestion for you. If you have any other questions about anything I shared, feel free to call us. We're always ready to help you be successful.